cheapskates.
Nut hairs in my thigh now.
There you go.
Time for a trim, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't ever do that anymore. Haven't done it since I stopped fucking, really. You know, it's like, when I fuck now, it's like incidental and they don't care about pubes.
That's fair.
They would have sucked my dick if it was a bloody stump hanging off the side of a fucking piece of drywall, you know what I mean? Real scafoozies. That's what I've been blorting into these days. Shout out to the great Doug Stanhope. Love that word.
Welcome back yet again to the
Poo Poo Pee Pee Mommy Mommy Doo Doo
That's the third part of
podcast.
this podcast, dude.
Yep.
We've each got an hour to tell our story. That's pretty fucking...
pretty aggressive is what
Maybe
it
now
is.
that maybe now that we're so warmed up, Gabe could get into his story a little faster than last time, because last time we kind of buffed it around. We biffed, we booped, we bopped.
I feel like us being more warmed up is just going to lead to
It's going to lead to us not being able to use this.
More
if
content.
We don't get to the
Yeah.
fucking point already.
Okay, so my soft robbery story is a story that's over, not in the same way that yours was, where like I owed money, but the story is over like, I don't know, probably a 5-year period. So I had a buddy that I grew up with, and he and I were always the ones who got in trouble together. Like we met in 7th grade, I think, and we were just like inseparable, but also like always trouble. Like anytime we were together, people knew we were doing some shit we weren't supposed to be doing, right? Like it was like we were battle buddies, right? So when we were like 20 or 21, we met this guy.
Give this person a name. It doesn't have to be their real name, but like you're telling a story about a particular person.
Sure.
Make it easier. Want to call him Tommy?
We'll call him Tommy. That's perfect. Yes.
All right. So you and Tommy are fucking bosom buddies. You guys get in fights? You fight with each other?
No. He's much smaller than me, so we never had physical.
Oh, so it's more like the big guy, little guy kind of friendship.
Yeah, like he would try to start fights that I would then have to engage in. That was his favorite thing, was to like start shit. And
so to fight with you, he wanted to back up, and you were. He
didn't want to fight. He just wanted to watch me punch people. That's all he wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to see the big guy take charge.
Yeah.
Your fucking arms are literal thighs. Like he has fucking.
That's true.
He has fucking.
Gabe's arms
he has
are
quadriceps.
His
quadricep biceps, dude. That's fucking insane. I didn't realize how. I've never seen you in a short sleeve shirt, I guess, or something. Maybe I just never noticed, but good God almighty. Am I tripping, or are those things like 36? You got a 36-inch waist on your arm.
I think Keith's in love with you.
My arms are...
And I like it.
Did I mention that Gabe is Thor? Anyway.
My arms used to be fucking way bigger than this. So anyway.
Gabe and... Robin, Gabe, and little Tommy.
Little Tommy Hood. So, so we, like, he was the first one I ever stole anything with. We used to always...
Shoplifting?
Yeah, we did tons of shoplifting together.
We...
He and I figured out how to get cigarettes together when we were like 14, 15. So like we all, all of those like milestones, like we always did that shit together, right?
You know what I always say, Gabe? I always say, if you don't want me to shoplift, you should give it away for free.
Exactly.
And I have never shoplifted once since the statute of limitations for shoplifting has been up.
Yeah, it's been exactly that amount of time.
That's how long it's been since I shoplifted.
So he and I met this guy when we were like 20 or 21, who we ended up living with for a little while. And he had a house that was like, he was flipping it, but like, I think like 6 or 8 years later, the last time I ever saw him, he was still in that house and it wasn't finished. So it may have been like a money pit, or you know what I'm saying, but like a purposeful one to like cover tax shit. Because like he had a regular job, but he also, okay, so he had all of the drugs. He was one of those guys that just like he had money and like he came from money, so like he always had drugs, but he would never sell us anything. Like this group of buddies of his, he would never sell us anything. But we knew he had amounts to sell. You know what I'm saying? And we also had a pretty good inkling that he was selling to other people.
Or is this about a hard robbery? Do you just jack this dude's drugs?
No.
Okay.
No, again, we were like,
Are
we
you
knew
doing
this,
Tommy
we
about
knew
to
this
bash
guy.
this dude's door in with a sledgehammer
No,
and go to Bork?
We knew this guy for like 5 years. And also, we lived with him for like 2 of those years, right? It was when I was selling cars. So, just debauchery all around. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were shitty, we were doing drugs, and I was selling cars.
I've
just
met
like
car
all the
salesmen
scummy things.
before. I know
Exactly.
what you guys do.
Yeah.
You're fun people.
So
Good for a soft robbery.
what we would do is wait until he was gone, and then we would go through the house. Because, like, he kept some stuff in his room, but we knew that wasn't where he, like, kept shit, right? But, like, who knows? He probably had shit in the walls and, you know what I'm saying, shit in, like, nooks in the garage that you didn't know about. But we would find shit every once in a while in little spots. We found stuff in, like, tucked into an AC vent at the bottom of the thing one time. And we found some shit up in, crawl space entrance into the attic in the garage and shit. Like, we would, you know what I'm saying, find little
What would
stuff
you
like
do
that.
when you found the shit? Would you just
Okay,
not
so we
say
wouldn't-
anything
no,
about
no,
it?
we wouldn't-
Or would you take it?
We wouldn't.
That's just stealing from a drug dealer.
We would
That's not-
pinch. So we were always
Oh,
pinching.
you're pinching. Oh, pinching.
Yeah. So, but we would like.
Okay.
But
For
we
the-
would.
Can we
we
tell
would
the
find
people,
something.
People don't know what pinching is. You gotta
Oh,
educate
some of the
What
people
about
might,
the children that are watching this?
That's fair. They
should
need to know. That's fair.
The children that are watching this should know. So pinching is like, say you're like a crummy little drug dealer or like a crummy little drug user, and like there's a bag and it's going around, or it's just around
And unattended.
and you don't fucking jack the bag. You like the guy, but
Yeah.
you take a little pinch.
You take an amount that you think won't be noticed.
Okay.
That's the goal: is to take an amount that you hopefully nobody will even think to question that amount being gone.
In the 200 or 300 times I sold a bag of cocaine, I will promise you this: I never once did it without taking a few bumps first.
Absolutely.
It's never been
You're
done.
You're trying a little bit.
It's not.
Yeah.
I'm doing a little bit of your bag.
Yep.
I've done it, and sometimes they'll
If
want to
you
do
buy,
it with you after that.
if you bought a $10 bag of weed from me, no, you didn't. You bought an $8 bag of weed. From
That's
me.
right.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
right.
Like that's
Yeah,
like
if I'm selling my buddy an eighth in high school.
That's called the economy, bitch. That's how it works.
If I'm selling my homie an eighth in high school.
Yes.
In high school.
And I charged you more than it cost me, but also
An
smoke it
eighth
with me.
is 3 grams. Now, your
I
best friend,
would always smoke with people.
your
I
best
do.
friend gets
Like,
a
I was that dealer.
2.7 dime bag. Your best friend gets the 2.7 on the dime, dude. That's no problem. But the dude you know from school gets a 3 gram eighth.
Yes.
That's called pinching.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and by the way, I haven't pinched, sold coke, or pot. Well, clearly I haven't sold pot to anybody since high school, so that's definitely before the statute of limitations. But I have not sold any cocaine or even used cocaine since the statute.
And
of
exactly
limitations.
as long as
and
it's been.
that's how long it's been since the statute of limitations for having done those crimes. That's how long it's been since I did them.
That's perfect.
Yeah, you know this is the second episode, so this is actually a callback to the first
It's
episode.
the 3rd episode.
Yeah, it's episode 3 of the one episode.
But this bit started last episode, so I was trying to keep it going. Do you want me to let it go? Because I really enjoy
No,
it.
we're gonna keep this going.
like it.
No, yeah. It'll.
You don't have to cut any of that. I'm fine with being myself and people knowing that I
that's the
think
best.
about these things. But like, I really love the look. The fact of the matter is, come and get me, bitch.
Yeah, you tell him, Keith.
Yeah, let them know.
Yeah.
So,
Kappas.
we would.
The chair is going to smell like Keith now. It's
Yeah,
gonna
like
smell
Keith
fermenting
nuts,
alcohol.
like or gooch, like the whole thing, like the ass and the nuts all together.
I'm gonna be
like
real
that
honest with you.
congealed
I did
fermunda.
sleep in these clothes and
Sure.
work in them today
Sure.
for a little while, moving heavy boxes
Absolutely.
at the club.
Yep,
You know, just
this
typical
all
comedian
adds
stuff.
up. This is
It's gonna
on
smell
brand.
like Keith B.O. and comedic greatness.
Yes, absolutely. Like hilarity and
And
halitosis.
weed.
You know what I'm saying?
What's that?
I said like hilarity and halitosis. You know what I'm saying? Like the perfect
Yo,
combination.
do I have bad breath? Because people be offering me gum and shit, and I don't want it because I hate that shit.
Well, if you notice people offer you gum a lot, yeah, you probably have bad breath. But
I
also,
think that
like,
they're just
how
squares.
often do you brush your teeth / floss? Because that's how you fix them.
Oh, since I started working for Rogan at the mothership, I fucking every day I brush my teeth now.
He did a little left look. That means like every other day, but it's still that
That means
than,
no. That means bleep
better
that
than-
name.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
So the thing,
both the names.
most of these bags of things, and it was a random assortment. Like he didn't really deal. I don't think he ever really had weed. Maybe he had like high end weed, but we were selling weed at the time. But we always had mids. We just had pounds and pounds of fucking
So are you guys
Reggies
living in
the
a trap
freezer.
house together?
It wasn't a trap house though. No, like there was,
But it was
no
just like
selling.
4 homies who all sold weed, but they didn't sell it out the house.
Correct.
No,
and we would have parties. We would have big ass parties where we sell
So
everything
it's you
during
and
the
Tommy,
party.
and then there's the guy that leaves his weed unattended all the time, like
Yep.
an idiot. And then who's
And
the
then
other guy?
two other guys, two of my other
Two
buddies.
more guys. So there are 5 guys.
Correct.
The place
5 guys do
Huh?
burgers and fries.
the place that I lived, where I was doing everything that I in my last story. It was 4 of us living there, and then
There's lots of fuckery going on.
myself and the guy I was renting from were both getting our own supply from 2 different people, and then we're supplying the people in our house who were doing everything else.
Yep. Yeah.
It was like just a constant,
The big
just
fucking
trap
circle.
house party, just
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. So we would.
And it was 2016. It was during the election.
Oh, nice. This was a long
I remember
time ago. I don't even want to admit how long ago this was.
2016 was a
So,
rough fucking year, man.
So
Trump got elected. Remember that fucking big retard?
Right, well, don't get too sad.
yeah, let's not get super political on this episode.
I don't want to get
Next
political or anything, but like call a retard when they're running for public office, because we shouldn't elect people that are not competent mentally.
Well, he was smart enough to run. for
Correct.
Republican
Yeah, the
for-
last 2 presidents definitely for very
Oh,
different
dude,
reasons.
you think
We're
I
not
think Joe
competent
Biden's
mentally.
with it? I didn't say
Who
anything.
could?
I wasn't saying something stupid. I
At
was
this
just saying
point-
something smart.
You're not based in reality.
At this point, and it's the same thing as the people who towards the end were like, "No, Trump's really doing this for us." Like, you're a fucking moron, right?
Dude, could
So-
Joe Biden pull off a soft robbery? I don't think so.
no.
No.
Could literally anybody pull off a soft robbery on Joe Biden?
Didn't.
Everyone. No,
But
because
wouldn't
the staffing around him would keep
Like, you just
from
let him
soft
sniff your
robbery.
hair, and you can go through all of those pockets. I'm telling you,
call
like,
the,
every single one.
Wouldn't you call the entire 2020 election a soft robbery, though?
Okay, see, I'm not co-signing that at all.
Hashtag stop the steal.
Didn't Joe Biden basically soft rob the...
Start stealing more. I thought that was the whole point of our podcast. These last 2 episodes was steal more. Don't stop the steal. Steal it all.
Steal.
Why?
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you're gonna
and-
steal,
and
steal
here,
it all.
this will be the only point that I make the whole podcast. The rest of the time, I will just participate in the game, and I already know this story's true, because why would somebody make up a story about stealing minute amounts of marijuana unless it's going somewhere else? Which I hope it is. I'm just gonna say conspiracy, right? Like, everybody should conspire
Right.
all the time. Don't leave it to rich people to do all the conspiring.
Because that's all they're doing.
Yeah, well, how about poor people get together and conspire to
That's the
emancipate themselves from the fucking forced servitude of the rich?
Yeah.
How about, here's an idea. Start conspiring.
Yeah.
Hey,
Conspire.
don't come up with a theory about how they are conspiring. Conspire.
I've never
Get
conspired.
in the thick of it.
I've also never done any thing within...
I've also never theorized. So
Everything that Keith said about the statute of limitations, I also have to
ditto.
Also, I just want
Triple
you
that
guys to
up.
know, conspiracy is a
We don't
crime.
need lawyers.
Just
We
so you know.
cover our own ass.
This is
Just
all
a disclaimer. While I
this is all
encourage
parody.
it,
Clear.
this is important. As a disclaimer, how many times can you say that in 13 seconds?
I don't know.
Spit it out.
Conspiracy is a crime. Okay?
I know. Yeah, it's not good.
And I have not conspired since the statute of limitations for conspiracy. And that as of today. As of today, I have not conspired once since the statute of limitations for the... I don't know how long that
We
is.
do need a lawyer for this podcast.
We do.
We should
we
get
need
legal
a
counsel.
pack
I know
of
a
lawyers.
comic that's a lawyer here in town. That might be good to bring on counsel, and he's a
What would you
POC.
call a group of lawyers?
He's
like
a POC, so that would undo all that horse shit you just said.
So,
Overtalk, sorry.
so the drugs we would find at this guy's house, it was never weed. It was other things. It was pills.
Oh,
it was
so you're just leaving pills
it was,
all over the
it
place?
was rolls. It was we would find bags of cocaine.
You're pitching
fucking,
good drugs?
Oh, good drugs. Good,
Oh,
real good
that's
drugs.
the shit.
Yeah. So
Fuck yeah, dude. I always, when I think pension, I think going back to the pot in high school, you know? Here's a fucking...
Oh, no, that's obviously...
2 grams for $20.
And especially Tommy and I, we pinched a lot of weed sacks. Like, we definitely did that for sure. Anytime we were at a party and there were drugs being done, we left with drugs.
If you're just spilling
like, we did
pills,
as much drugs as we could and left with
Sometimes we left with Xbox 360s.
I never did that. I had friends that did that, but I didn't do that.
The entire medicine cabinet.
Some of them are law enforcement now. Some of my friends who stole other people's Xboxes work in law enforcement. Isn't that fun?
The circle.
Some of them are in prison for putting kids' heads to the wall.
It reminds me of Clockwork Orange when he comes back from prison and his buddies that he used to be in the gang with are the cops now. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is.
Yep. So,
yeah, absolutely, dude.
We
write it down, read it in Braille. That's what it was.
So the end of us living with him.
No, but hold on. We got to go back to the booty here. We're talking bags of blow. This guy's just dropping half-used bags of coke.
Well, that's the thing. Like we don't know if he was selling it or if he just like had enough money to just
spill pills all over the table and leave them. It's like,
no, not on the table. Bitch. No, that's what I'm saying. He had hidden them. Like the point was, he was trying to not get them found. But
you would find them.
Anytime
and then you would just get a few. And
anytime there was a party, everybody was hanging out. He would bring drugs out, but he would always bring it out in an amount that we would all do in that setting. But we knew that like he wasn't going to get it, right? So that's when we started looking, and we ended up finding. And the first time we found something, we were like, okay, because we found a bag of coke that was like a fucking quarter ounce. Like it was a fat bag of coke, right?
That's family, okay? Because like I've got a couple of family members. I would never even remotely hint to who they are. Let's just say that we have the similar, area codes at one point in time. And
the way you don't give details is very detailed. So continue.
I'm just saying, like I've lived all over the country, so you really could have no fucking idea. I've lived
get to the point so I can get back to my story.
I know, but this is important. It's like when you got fam that is so responsible with their blow that they can just like have like a quarter ounce for like that random night where it's like, yeah, we can all do a few.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the thing.
Ball right now, and it won't even cut into their stash.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the best kind of family.
Yes.
And so, you are.
You know. So this was pre-Molly too. It was like it was rolls, the pills that we would find, or also just pills. Like we would find like fucking Valium and Oxycontin and fucking what's the one that sucks?
Xanax?
No.
Lortab?
Lortabs, yeah. Lortabs never did anything for me. Like I've done like
really, I like Lortab.
Chunks of Lortabs, and it would never.
I've done every pill because I'm from Pillville, Indiana. That's actually the name of my town.
Adderall. He would have bags of Adderall pills too.
Adderall, Vyvanse, Percocets, Lortabs, hydrocodone, Oxycontin, morphine.
What you
want?
Value. What you need? Hit me up. I got you, man.
Yeah, dude. What's that one? And it's all up for grabs. By Lil White. That's a great song. He hates that song now, and it's like, yeah, well, too bad. Profited. Blood on the streets. You bought real estate. Sorry, you have to sing that fucking song for the rest of your life.
Right.
Well, we were all dying to it anyway.
So the thing that ended up getting us kicked out of the house was
you should hand out free Narcan.
We got caught.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Caught nabbing out the stash.
So,
dude, that's gonna blow up a house of 5.
so the other two had already moved out because they had interactions with.
So you're down to 3?
Yeah, they had been there had been drunken nights and they had not got long. So it was literally just the two of us and him.
Because everybody is fucked up out of their minds all the time. So like they let things build up and then
and also
lash out,
he
and
was
everybody has
he
to
was
move
like
out.
he was a weird dude. Like he would literally we threw a birthday party for him one time and like he made a big deal about the fact that like he couldn't get people there for his birthday and we were like, we got you. And literally we had like 75 people packed into his 3-bedroom house. Like a fucking blowout party. And he spent the entire night in his room on Facebook messaging girls that were never going to fucking talk to him, right? So, oh no, MySpace. It was fucking MySpace days. Yeah, that's how far back. Yeah. So
nice.
So anyway, he was that
I remember 8th grade. I'm younger than you. What's up, dude?
Yeah.
Fucking big young bull.
Yeah,
big
not. I was fucking 20 years old. So, so anyway,
that's so cool. That's a real man right there.
Yeah,
Trunks,
real fucking grown ass. So, so we went in to his bedroom one time, and he would always keep it locked, but it was one of those doors that you could easily just like
the thumbnail and you twist it and you're in.
Fucking, yeah, right.
I used to take the swab off a Q-tip and just use that for those doors.
Yeah, when you want to lie to when you want to lie to your child about how much privacy they actually have.
Yeah, exactly. You can pretend like you've got it locked.
My dad had one of those on his door, and I used to sneak into his bedroom at night and steal cigarettes while he was passed out drunk.
Nice, very nice. So we got some, I don't even remember what it was, but we had gotten some pills out of his bag. And again, we would always make sure, like, if it was a bag of 100 pills, we would take 10, right?
Keep it responsible.
Exactly. And, like, if he's taking a couple...
Pinch, dude. 10 out of 100? I mean,
pissed. Not visually, like, it's you can't really tell. But the problem is, like again, we were addicts. So, like, we were pushing, and it was 2 of us. Because, yeah, you would have done 4 by yourself, but it was 2.
See, I never got that deep in pills. Like, I tried them, and sometimes I tried one or 2 of them.
Yeah.
But I never pushed to 4 on any pill. I never did. I always wanted to see what they do on their own.
I took 5 Xanax.
I was never like a throw a handful
one night. We were already drunk off of an entire 5th of vodka, and I took 5 of those. That was the second time I'd ever taken Xanax, and I didn't know. I blacked out about.
You fucking blacked out.
I blacked out about 9 p.m. that evening because we started drinking at like 5, and I took the Xanax at probably like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then at 9 o'clock I blacked out. I remember one scene in my buddy's girlfriend's car where I lit up a cigarette and she's yelling at me like, "Don't light, you're too fucked up." And I was like, "Fuck you," and I lit the cigarette and I dropped it and it fucking burned me. And she's like, "See, you dumbass." Like I remember like a 20-second clip, and then I woke up in my bed at my parents' house.
So you just took 5 Xanax?
Yes.
See, I've taken 5 Xanax because I took a Xanax, and then I took 2 Xanax, and then I forgot that I took the 2 Xanax, and then I took 2 more Xanax. And that's the only way I've ever taken 5.
5 straight.
But, like...
And are you talking about bars or footballs?
The greens. The green bars, not the... Well, every time I've done white bars, that's with cocaine. You just break them up with the blow and...
Yeah.
So it was 5, store them separately, but... Yeah,
so
that's the only time I ever used those big bows.
1 milligrams, whatever they were, the big ones. Right?
Yeah, I was doing.
So I took 5 of those.
You took 5 of those?
Yes, I took 5 of those.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's not like he's right. I absolutely should have died.
Yeah, that's insanity.
So,
is the what? Is there?
That was not recording the entire time.
Oh no!
Are you that disturbed by this?
No, I am. I'm very disturbed by it. Here's why.
You're pissed off about
because,
it.
like,
and that's taking you out of your vibe and telling this fun story.
I had a fucking, like, you should check the cameras feeling in my soul. And I was like, I'm going already. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I should have. And that's why we're here.
Well, next time just ask me. I'm right by here.
I know. That's literally what I was going to do.
You and I can each...
I do wash my hair sometimes.
We're learning. We're learning. It's a learning process. Keith.
I know, but this podcast is about me, and you're not going to see me for 20 fucking minutes.
It's so funny.
All right, so listen.
It's so funny to me.
So,
because you invited me to be the star of you guys' show. and then you both piss and moan about how I take reins and be funny and all this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? All I'm trying to do is be good for you guys.
No, I want you to be you, Keith.
Yeah, which is an unfortunate person. In so many regards.
I love you.
I love you too.
That's why I keep a picture of you across from my shitter.
There we go.
It's got poop particles on it.
Sweet boys on it. Sweet boys on it. I love poop. Feed me some, Daddy.
Gabe,
Now,
what were you saying before I walked out of the room? He caught you guys pinching one day. What happened when he caught you guys?
So he didn't actually catch us in the act. My buddy Tommy. My buddy Tommy.
I haven't done this at all this whole time. Let me just say no problem to my friend.
We went in the room and we were looking through all of the stuff to try to find the stash, right? And we ended up finding it in like a camera bag, right? And the level of like effort he would go through to like hide it, you know what I'm saying? And the level of effort we would go through to find it. It was like this ridiculous cat and mouse game that nobody ever acknowledged, right? But
this is all in his mind too. This is really more just stealing from your roommate more than soft robbery. As much as I like the pinching analogy, I've grown to feel for your roommate who is just like, I share my drugs. I have a lot of them. And these guys are just fucking nabbing my drugs when I didn't even tell them they could.
None of us said that we weren't bad people.
Because either
yeah,
all of our
that's
stories
that.
that
Yeah, what? Why are you trying to make me look like I'm the asshole?
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh, I'm sorry.
What kind of shit is this?
I wasn't saying that. No, I just want people to know that I don't promote this story as much as I do the other ones.
Go fuck yourself. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm on Keith's team now. He's right.
I've had literally hundreds of roommates, and the only one of my roommates that ever wanted me to move out. I've moved out on a lot of roommates, never owing them money, only owing the landlord money that their rent was not tied to, and that was one time. Mm-hmm. But I've never moved out having fucked my roommates. I was never the roommate people wanted to move out, except for one roommate who was caught watching child porn by a guest of a party of ours.
Jesus Christ.
And I told him he should check into a motel and take his own life in the bathtub. And he didn't want me to live there anymore. But he's a fucking pedophile. So go fuck yourself, okay? It's
a fair exchange.
Of the hundreds, not hundreds, 100 plus roommates I've had in my life as a comedian and as a wild boy, as a teenager or whatever I was before I decided to channel this into telling jokes. Yeah. The only one that ever wanted me to move out was the one that I told to kill himself because he was caught watching child pornography. So, don't fuck your roommates over, man. I'm a fucking booze bag and I throw up and stuff. It's cool. Fucking gross.
I like how in the middle of this podcast where you have talked,
I have a moral crisis
ad nauseum about what a piece of shit you are. You stopped in the middle to tell me how you're less of a piece of shit than me. I really appreciate that.
Gabe,
welcome to my podcast, you fucking asshole. Jesus Christ.
And go on a rant about pedophiles just in the middle of
right, just nothing. Like let's just throw that out there. Like also I'm not a pedophile.
Just like a fucking mass shooting of
I'm better than you and my other roommate. So
I also like Tommy throughout this story.
So anyway,
because he's not telling
you're
the
not
story.
gonna.
He's holding the secret
You're not gonna.
right now.
Relax.
Oh God.
Tommy's not the hero of this story.
Oh, what did Tommy do? Your camera went out right
Fuck you too. Fuck you too. You said you took his side halfway through.
You did take
so
his
fuck
side.
You vicariously by association.
You did
too.
Yeah, but
hey,
your camera went out.
Calm down. Calm down, sugar tits. All right.
Fashionable things.
No, that was good. That was about getting us back in the jive of the story. I'm with it. I know where that we are in the story.
You're a jive turkey.
That's all I was trying to do. I was getting us fucking going.
So
after your meltdown.
So while we're in there looking for things, Tommy left a piece of paper in the bathroom that was a list that the owner of the house had made for him of things he needed for something. And he was like reading it and fucking with it for whatever reason while he was in the bathroom looking through things. And he left it in there. So guy gets home and this thing that he had, you know what I'm saying? Like he knows what it is and where it came from and that he'd given it to Tommy. And it's in the bathroom. And he's like, clearly somebody was in my room.
Yeah, they dropped their list of shit from
You
the
left
landlord.
this thing that I know you had because I wrote it and gave it to you in here.
Oh, he's the landlord too this whole time?
yeah.
That
he
takes
owns
all
house.
the onus off of you.
He's the owner, yeah.
You didn't say that.
I
You
did.
had
I
that-
started with that.
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry if I didn't
Yeah,
hear
because
you
I said
or-
it was a house he was trying to flip and he lived in for years and it was like half built and shit.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't know he owned it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was. I thought you guys. Okay, so the guy was.
That's the only way you can flip a house.
I thought the. Well,
For the record.
I thought the land. I didn't know that person that owned the house.
You have to own it. You have to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I
I don't know
thought.
if Keith
I'm
understands
sorry.
the concept of real estate game.
Of owning
Yeah.
or houses.
I get it now. I get it now. But I had for. I'm okay. So let me.
Keith's credit
Rewind.
score is as high as like
Rewind real quick. I'm Chinese now. Rewind real quick. And
Yep. We're getting edgy.
fucking I had forgotten, okay, maybe it's the marijuana, but I had
That'll do it to
forgotten
you.
that this guy was your landlord by the time you got to just exactly what you kind of stealing you guys were doing from him. What kind of soft robbery you were executing. It's not a soft robbery. This is a fucking douchebag landlord who had extra drugs and you took some of them.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was trying to talk about.
I'm so sorry that I thought this was your roommate, like your buddy. But no, he's just the guy that owns the house this is like a scumbag who gets other scumbags to live with him and is kind of letting them fall into a level of degeneracy that might be like, I don't know.
And aiding and abetting it. Absolutely.
Unacceptable in some way. Yeah, I know that guy. And that's remember when I said I moved out owing a landlord once?
It was
That's
the guy. Yeah. Okay. So we're the same. So basically, you went on a tirade about what a piece of shit I am because I'm like
and we have
you.
the exact same story. So that was a good rewind. I hope the camera caught your reaction to it because
No, it's recording me now, so it probably did.
Is it?
So. And I'm sure you checked this one when you came in as well.
Did you guys?
Now he's gonna look at it.
I
again and
love
be like,
this.
Is it?
This is the only podcast where people
is.
get paranoid about whether or not it's recording. That's pot for you, dude.
Yeah,
That's
leave
fun
me
stuff.
alone. Leave me alone. So anyway, he sits us down to have like a family meeting, right?
Family meeting is this scumbag landlord. Oh, we're a family.
Yeah.
We
You
eat
guys
ramen
even have
noodles
like a
and pop
dining room or
pills.
anything, or was it just like the framework of a house with like the fucking construction plastic up and shit?
Yeah, I mean there was furniture.
I'm sorry, buddy.
It was both though. It was like exposed beams and shit, construction, but also like furniture. And the bedrooms he hadn't torn apart yet. So like in our bedrooms, it was still like a room. But the whole living area, the hallways, everything, like the dining room and kitchen, and all of that was all torn to shit. Right?
It was just like plywood that y'all were walking around on, basically.
No,
Not
the floor
plywood, but
was just
flooring.
like it was just like shitty vinyl whatever flooring.
Okay.
That was the last thing that he did. But like that, you literally just tear
Was
it
this
up.
guy-
Yeah, just like lay
No,
down.
he was no, he was not. He was a tech nerd before that revolution happened. Back when if you were a tech nerd, you were like really set. Whereas now it's like, oh yeah, you and a million other people. Anyway, so it was a novel thing at the
Suck it,
time.
nerds.
Yeah, 20 years ago, that was like a big deal. So
You know,
anyway,
I haven't been a tech nerd since the statue.
I was in a tech nerd earlier today. So, shout out to my wife. So anyway,
Hi, honey.
Keep
it warm. I'm coming home.
so he sits us down to have a family meeting, right?
Yeah, family meeting.
Yeah, family. The
Yeah,
family,
your
meeting,
family.
right? And he was like, "Listen, I know, obviously, that one of you was in my room. I don't know what you were doing. There's nothing that I see that's missing, but I know one of you were in my room. So like, just whoever it was, admit it, and then we can deal with it and move on, right?" And he was like, "I recognize that this is aggressive right now, this interaction. So like, you guys can take a minute, but before tonight is over, one of you needs to come and confess, or both of you are going to need to leave, right? And so he leaves to go do his stuff, and Tommy and I have a conversation, right? And Tommy's like, you got to take the fall. And I was like, do I? And he was like, yeah, because...
This is your friend since you're a little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, because I'm more connected to him. I'm the one who introduced you. So, like, if I admit it, you'll probably not have a place to live. But if you take the heat, then I'll still have a place to live. And, like, maybe I'll be able to talk him into, like, letting you stay. And I was like, you're the one who fucked up.
Right. Even though you're both doing it, but he's the one who yeah.
You fucked up.
Uh-huh.
You take the charge. That's how that math works. I did. Yes, we were both doing the thing, but I was smart enough to not get caught, and you were not, and that's why we're in the situation. So you have to take the heat.
Doesn't he know
that you're the one who fucked up?
Didn't Tommy have a list that he dropped that the guy gave to Tommy?
And also, yes, it's also obvious that it was you.
Yeah, why would I
you're
have
the
your
one.
list?
Yes, you're the one who had the thing, right? And he refused. He was like, okay, then we'll just say neither one of us did it. And I was like, then we both are out of a place to live because he's obviously not going to buy that. And he's like, well, it's either that or you take the blame. And I was like, those are the only two options? Is either we're both fucked or I'm fucked?
Uh-huh.
Those are the only possible options. Remember when you liked Tommy? So
I still kind of do.
You motherfucker.
This is I was going to wait. You want to finish before I tell you what I think?
Oh, I would love to. So we end up getting kicked out because neither of us take the fucking heat, right? Yeah. So we end up both getting kicked out, right?
Stupid move.
Yeah, dumb, right? So then we end up I end up seeing them both again. I moved to another state and then came back like a year and a half or so later, right? And I end up coming back. And one time I'm hanging out with Tommy, and he was like, hey, let's go see our buddy. And I was like, oh,
our friend?
Our buddy? Like, we're buddies?
That threw us both out of the
And so we went over there, and it was super awkward. And by the end of it, I was like, oh.
Yeah, no shit.
So
you told out of his home.
You told him that I did it, didn't you?
Scumbag landlord. Still.
The only reason you two have been hanging out, because he was like, oh, yeah, we've been hanging out since like a couple months after that happened.
Damn.
I was like, oh, so you just went back and said it was me because I wasn't in town anymore.
Yep. 100%.
And absolutely that's what happened because I ended up talking to the guy later, right? So he was like, because he came to me and he was like, hey, he told me like it was you. He's like, I know, it's water under the bridge, no big deal. And I was like, You don't think it's convenient that he told me it was you as he came back around and like started doing your free drugs again and I wasn't in town? And he was like, oh. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to rat him out, but like, you do the math, motherfucker. Right? So.
And also, he still knows that it was Tommy's list.
Also, yeah, it was obviously Tommy. So.
I love Tommy.
So anyway,
not as a person. In fact, he's probably as somebody who is in jail right now.
Here's the thing.
I would put money on his books because he's in there making it work.
I also love Tommy. We've been friends our entire lives, but yes, that's part of.
But it's remarkably manipulative, especially.
Sure.
But also, you have to think. I'm going to get to your conclusion, but I feel like it now would be okay to interject this one thought. He had a good pitch for you for taking the blame. Was it right for him to take the blame? Yes. But when he was like, well, I could emotionally manipulate him.
But that was bullshit. That was bullshit. That was not true. That was never going to happen.
You didn't think that was ever going to happen?
Never in a million years. He was just going to keep having a place to live and I would have been fucked. That's absolutely all he was angling for. And I know that because he's been busted with other people and he ratted them out too. He's that guy. That's what it is. That's all it is.
So
that's what he does.
Well, Tommy. Well, old Tommy the snitch is going to wind up in a cornfield. And that's neither here nor there. That's what happens to Tommy the snitch.
Yikes.
And I can't speak from any kind of experience on that, but I know that snitches just don't stick around.
Yeah.
And also, you don't see them later.
It's not a
in
good
life,
lifestyle.
You know what I mean?
It's not a good way to live, for sure.
Yeah, especially with
Mostly
your
just
lifelong friends.
Mostly just because it's hypocrisy. Like, just own... Because that was the thing that always frustrated with me is I was like, I'll own... Like, if you want to go in there and be like, we both were fucking around in there, like, we'll come up with a story for what... Like, to soften the blow, and we'll both take the blame. I'm all for that.
Soften the blow.
You ever put stool softener in his cocaine to make up for the cocaine?
Inositol, vitamin B powder.
So that's more than pinching the bag. That's drinking your dad's liquor.
Yeah.
That's drinking your dad's liquor. That's
why,
what that
why
is.
am I an asshole?
You putting water in the gin.
Vitamin B is good for you. It helps replenish some of the stuff.
But I did a lot of fucked up shit too, pinching like
but
that.
also,
I never did that. I would sell people short bags or do people's bag without them, but never fucking did I replace it with something that would make it look more like it was. Oh, but remember this trick?
But here's the thing: you don't want to do that
too
too much because you're stealing out of that bag on a regular basis.
Exactly. When you're
so you don't want to like dilute
eighth,
it too much because then you're just stealing bullshit.
You break the nugs in half on a 3 gram eighth. You know what I mean? You make it look a little bit more like it's little nugs, so they're dense.
I had one time when I was buying pounds of weed. They would come in big ass gallon bags. We took it all out, and this motherfucker had a rock that he just put in there.
I've seen it happen to people.
I was furious. I was so mad.
I've seen people get a rock with like weed glued to it before.
That's the next level.
Uh-huh.
And then a lot of people would do, they would do sugar water, and they would spray the weed with the sugar water, and it would absorb it and fluff up a little bit, but also it would give it a stickier texture, so it would seem like it was better weed.
Interesting. I never gave a shit. Roll it, light it, smoke it.
I also got some weed one time that was salty, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this weed? And it had it looked like frosty, but I was like, that's something on it. Like you would wipe it and it would be like on your fingers. And it's because it came through on fish shipping boat. And they packed it in the salt with the fish, and some of the weed absorbed some of the salt because some of the bags got holes in them or whatever. So yeah, and I was like, God damn it. Fortunately, it didn't taste like fish. It was just the salt. But I took that shit back. I was like, I'm not trying to smoke salt weed. No, thank you. No. I'm sorry. You didn't get the moment you deserved. Yes, it did taste like seaweed.
Seaweed. My ex-wife found weed that was washed up on the beach in Galveston, but it had molded and is all black and shit, and she was still smoking that shit.
God damn.
Little tweaker.
Tough lady.
Anyway.
Tough bro.
She still ain't dead.
Put someone like that on Survivor. Put that person.
Yo, you could drop my old bitch.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
You want her.
You put that person on the island, and you might end up with cannibalism. Might happen. You know what I'm saying? Like that. You know what I'm saying? Like a crackhead, fully in the throes of coming down. Because where are you gonna find crack on an island? You brought some. You know what I'm saying? So for the first 3 or 4 days, you did.
To make a pipe out of bamboo.
You brought enough to last you the whole month.
Yeah.
And then you did it in 4 days like a crack addict.
Yeah.
And then by day 7,
you're
fucking
got a whole
and you eat somebody. You know what I'm
you
saying?
still have a full. You find a crackhead connection in 5 minutes. Do you still have an automobile from when you moved? You have a new crack dealer before you smoke.
You're on Survivor.
Rock.
What are you talking about? You're on an island. There's no crack.
Oh, I thought you were talking about finding crack in a new town.
That's Keith's version of Survivor. That's Keith's version of Survivor.
No, I thought we were talking about.
We have dropped Keith
I'm
off
sorry.
in Pittsburgh.
I've smoked a
if
lot of
find
pot.
A bag of crack in the next 3 hours, then we'll award him $1 million.
I've smoked a lot of pot in the last hour. I thought we were talking about Survivor for my ex-wife. So I was thinking her kind of Survivor would be you could drop her off in Timbuktu and she'd be like, I got us a bag of gravel, baby. Let's fucking get a pook. She'd be like, can I get extra sugar in my coffee? Sugar pie to the barista. She's always with the waitress talk, sugar pie, honey, darling. all that stuff. That's where I get all my
Sweet
darlings
talk.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, she ordered
She a
coffee.
Waffle House
She
with
ordered
Southern sweet talk, right?
coffee at the
you
gas
ever been
station
inside
like
of a
she's
Waffle
at a
House,
restaurant.
I've been inside of a Waffle House.
Okay.
Well, Gabe,
There's no way you haven't ever fucked a Waffle House waitress. You had to have. Right?
no, I never fucked a Waffle
I'm the
House
only
waitress.
person in this room who's fucked a Waffle House waitress. I don't believe it.
But
The
let me
odds
tell
of
you
that-
something. I do have a particular interesting thing with Waffle House. One time I was driving to Florida to crush some puss, you know? And
Like you do.
From
when you got a hog.
yeah, from Indiana, and this girl wanted to fuck, so I was gonna go on down there. But like, she called me when I was in Tennessee, like right in the Appalachian Mountains, and she goes, "You're gonna have to sleep on the air mattress because I got kids, and they sleep with me with my cats or whatever, or dogs. I can't remember what they were, some animals."
No thank
And
you
I
to
was
both.
like-
No thank you to either one of those kids or animals sleeping
Or
on my
air
bed.
mattress.
No thank you. I don't have time
I
for
was
that.
I was doing well at the time. I was like, "Fuck this! I'll pull off, get a motel room, go back to Cincinnati tomorrow, and do stand up." This is on the way back north, so I love Cincinnati. It's a great comedy town. So
I've never done
I crashed in
stand-up
the
Cincinnati.
mountains,
I would love to.
and they had a bar across the street from the Waffle House, across the street from my hotel room, in this little hill town that I stayed in, and I got up early and made coffee and watched the sunrise over the hills of my ancestors, and then but that was the beautiful part at the end. Anyway, the night I pulled off all mad I wasn't gonna get laid, and bought my motel room. I went over to the bar, got shit faced, and there was a mechanic shop on the other side of the Waffle House. But it looked like it was closed. Apparently it wasn't, because the mechanic came over after I was finishing my shame meal at the end of the night. I went and got hammered, and then I bought a bunch of eggs and eggs and waffles, and was eating like a pig and drinking milk in the middle of the night. Stupid. And
I love drinking milk in the
I
morning.
went out to smoke my cigarette after I was done eating at the Waffle House, and the mechanic from next door came over, and he's like, "Time to start my shift." And he's standing there with his fucking black hands, you know, like black with oil
Yeah,
from
just
working.
oil soaked.
Yeah, just
That
greased
shit-
up fucking mechanic
somebody did-
hands. And he's like, "I'm
does
about to
that
be
for any amount
be
of
the
time,
cook
it never
at the
comes out.
Waffle House." And I'm like, "I'm glad I missed his shift." You know what I mean? And I go, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you staying in the hotel?" He's like smoking, you know. You staying in the hotel? I was like, "Yeah."
I remember when they used to like smoke during their shift. Like,
No, but
fucking
get
cook
this.
with
This
smoke
is the
on
funny
their
part.
Remember that too.
The funny part is he goes, "Yeah, man, I live
Remember the
there."
early 90s kids?
He lived in the motel across the street. He's like, "Oh, that's where I live."
Fuck
He-
yeah, dude.
He's like, he works as a mechanic all day, Waffle House cook all night, and sleeps 6 hours in this fucking shit hotel. Oh man, like 30 a night,
They
dude.
got
yeah,
plumbers.
there's so many people who live that exact life.
Yep.
Dude,
I used to live next door to that guy.
I was like, this.
I
this
only
dude's
lived
on
next
a
door
life,
to that guy
dude.
for like the first 30 years
I,
of my life.
I lived at a motel right next to a Waffle House.
I was fortunate I never had to live in a motel. I stayed in some between like for a few days between an apartment, you know what I'm saying, when you would get your fucking cash together for a deposit or whatever, but like I never had to live in one long term, fortunately.
I lived in a motel for 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was right next to. I've had birthday, Christmas, and Thanksgiving dinner at Waffle House.
Yep.
For sure.
Scott, did you
Good
ever?
All good times.
Did you ever think that the reason people live in Appalachia is
Yes.
because the mountains aren't tall enough to jump the fuck off? What the fuck kind of life is that, dude?
I don't know. I like it out in the mountains.
Cranking
Sometimes.
wrench,
It's a nice.
flipping eggs, and sleeping in a dirty old motel that comics beat off on the bed sheets and fucking take a dump and don't flush. What
Here's the
fuck?
thing. At the time,
That's a terrible life. I would kill myself so hard,
I love
dude.
Austin.
I tried.
I love Appalachia too, man. The mountains are beautiful.
Like I
Yeah.
said, my favorite part of the whole thing was just watching the sun come up over those hills. But like, yo, dude, I couldn't turn wrench and fucking flip eggs all night afterwards.
Well, no. Fuck, I know. I
No.
know.
I don't got the
But
work
I didn't
work
do
ethic.
that. But I did other similar
But I
shitty
respect
jobs.
anybody who
I would
can-
rather
yeah.
soft rob than fucking live that life.
I respect anybody that can live a life like that, though, because I'm just not programmed.
It's hard as
I've
fuck.
never been able to work like a regular
No, I've
job.
done it throughout the years, but I was never successful in it.
I like
couldn't
how he
stick with
says,
anything
I'm
'cause
not
fucking-
programmed
I'm
like
not
that, like they aren't learning disabled. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Programmed like that? You mean programmed? Period? End of sentence? Jesus Christ, dude. How good of a job did public school do on you, dude? You're buying in.
All right, so let's get to guessing.
Yeah. Who was lying? Who told the truth?
I think they're both truth. I really do. But if I was...
For the sake of statute
Is
of
one of them...
limitations, I'm going to say that it was baloney. That I
Is
was
it... Hold on. I
lying.
want
Said
to
a lot
know.
of dates and things that I might not have said. Numbers and weights.
Oh, so it was just longer ago. And
So for the statute of limitations' sake,
it was all things that happened, but it was an amalgamation of things that happened as opposed to the actual story itself. Did you really flip the pyramid?
yeah.
All the way back to you're on top of the pyramid?
I mean, I'm not on top of the pyramid, but I'm
Out of the pyramid.
yeah,
He sold out. He got out. He sold
got
his
out. He's
remaining
like,
stock and got
yeah,
out.
Okay, fair enough. And so yours was 100% true?
No. Mine was also...
Oh my god, dude! What, you both just fucked with me for 2 hours?
So...
What the fuck? God damn you!
So...
I thought we grew as friends during this show.
The getting caught
Never doing
stealing
this podcast
thing...
again.
The getting caught stealing thing did actually happen, but it was just like it was an old hippie lady that we met and we stole some weed out of her fucking thing. But like that element technically happened. The rest of it was baloney.
So like all your indignation about how I judged you and all this stuff, you never pinched bags?
No, I did. No, I hella pinched bags. Just the story about the guy and all that stuff. That was all made up.
You just pinched one lady's bag?
No, I've done it through. Yeah, of
Oh,
course. I pinched
throughout
all
the
shit.
years.
Yeah,
But we're not
yeah.
going to go into
But
that.
the guy that
So
we lived with that had bags of drugs, that was all made up.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is Scott is not even really a liar. He just was like kind of changing a couple things. So it's all baloney today. But like
Yeah, it
Scott
was
was
a
just
double
kind of
dose of
changing a few
baloney.
things
I
around
don't-
to
I
make
don't
it
know that we've done
baloney.
that.
He was kind of changing a few things around to make it baloney. You just concocted this wild tale.
Yeah.
And took me on it.
Yeah.
And I said all those things about you and all those things about Tommy, who Tommy doesn't even exist. You don't have a friend like that?
The kind of elements of that story.
It's all a
involved.
fairy tale. Pretty
yeah,
much.
but there's a guy who I did get caught stealing something with when I was
Gotcha.
younger. But
Dude, you got way more soft Robin in you than I do. Because
yeah.
I can't spin wines like that. They got to be, like, down the line. That's great.
Thank you.
You kind of blew my mind now.
That's my specialty. I love
I
telling
don't-
stories, and
I don't
sometimes you have
know.
to make up a good story.
Yeah, I don't know how the people that are watching this are going to feel, but I hope that they feel like how I feel
Hoodwinked?
right now. Like, what the fuck?
Nice.
Because that's really how I feel.
Fuck yeah.
And I got to pee.
All right.
And also, like, whether you see this before or after St. Patrick's Day of this year, check out Keith Ray Live from the End of the Bar on YouTube.
Fuck yeah.
Please, I hope you enjoy the show.
That'll
It's
be
my
in the
first
description too.
Also,
first comedy special. It's only 20 minutes. Just fucking have a drink, have a laugh. You know, it's on me.
Beautiful.
fuck
Peace
yeah.
and love and violence.
The shocker.
I think it's a good outro. I think it's good.
All right, don't pee your pants, or do.
No, I
mean,
really gotta
honestly.
pee. And I need a charger for an iPhone. I don't have to take a nap though.